Welcome back to the building of the U.S. Brig Syren. This is starting on chapter 4, where we build the transom. Previously, we have the frame and the gun ports all built. This is deck built in and stained, and everything's been faired out. So this, other than the transom, we're ready for planking. I have my pieces cut out here. I have my A pieces with the spacing between them, 2 B pieces with all spacing between them, and the 4 C pieces with all the spacing in between them. These things all go on to the stern of the ship here. If I find it, I have to start with 1 piece here to go in that is centered up. I can get to go on the slot again. We go like that and be centered up. Then there will be an A piece on the side, another spacer, B, another thin little spacer, then 2 of these C's get sandwiched together and stuck on. So we'll go ahead and get that going and come back when I have those glued up. Still working on the transom here, the stern. I have all the parts in place. I've sanded them smooth, or that put a couple fillers in. I have to sand them smooth again. That'll give me the shape on the back. I'm not worried about the roundness of it. That'll be shaped out when this is covered with this planking and its stern plate. Still need to shape the edges here. And basically, model Shipways is saying you can run a batten here and mark this edge on the inside of the batten so you know where to shape it to. So I'll get that done with the Dremel, get it roughed in, then hand sand it to final shape. It's a nice little big wine glass shape on the back, or whatever you want to call it, when it's done. But I also need to get, at the same time, these filler plates here and stern up and vertically up the stem. So I'll get all that in and sand at the same time. So I'll do some shaping and sand it, get a thin batten, make sure it goes on around the counter of the boat. Once that is all done, I believe we are done with chapter, what was this, 4? Chapter 4. From there I can move into the hull planking, paint the gun ports, and do all the planking. So I'll get this stuff done, come back with what looks like when I'm done, and then I can move on to the planking. So here we are at the end of chapter 4, I believe it is. I have the stern shaped as much as it's going to get right now. I'm going to have to come back later and finish it off when I do the planking down here. I'm going to have to do some adjustments. But it's pretty close to where it needs to be, and I'm happy with it. Next step is chapter 5, which is the hull planking. This thing just dumps right into the hull planking. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and paint these ports. That way they have their first coating of paint on them. And on this side of the hull, outside, you wouldn't be doing more paint anyway for the red. So I'll get that started here. Basically what I need to do is I need to paint every gun port and every ore sweep port. Gun ports are easy to identify. They're these nice big ones. I'll probably end up putting 2 coats of red on them just because I know the first coat's going to soak in. No need to worry about overlap on the inside. That's all going to be covered. It's going to be painted red anyway. And on the outside, you need to have some of this overlap out here, because when you put the planking on, there's going to be a little bit of a reveal to that gun port. So just go through each one. Inside edge is painted nice red. The paint I'm using is actually Model Expo's paint that I bought when I got the kit. So it's theoretically, according to them, the right color. It was a paint set for the Syren. I think it's a little red, but I think it'll grow on me. So every gun port, every pair of gun ports has a sweep port midway in between. So there's one here, 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 there, there, and there. So I'll continue on painting the gun ports and be back with doing the first layer of planking. Here we are, we're back with chapter 5, I think it is, for planking the hull. First step is to put on the whale, which is a wider plank. And it'll be eventually end up being 3 planks tall and 2 planks deep for a rubbing strake, or whatever you want to call it. But that one goes on first, goes on nice and smooth. There's a laser cut line in each one of these frames of where the top of that whale should be. Turns out, above this whale is 7/8 inch planks. So from the top of the whale to the top of the frame should be 7/8 of an inch tall. So I cut myself a stick, 7/8 of an inch tall, and marked off on the hull where that line should be. Put a notch in that spot and verify that it looks like it lines up with the laser etch mark from when the kit was manufactured. And I can take a piece I have a compound cut on the bow of to fit into the rabbet. And I can spin that sucker around and glue it in place, following that line. Turns out to be reasonably fair. Good enough for what it's for. If you sight down this one here, I can see that there's a couple of bumps in it, a little dip right here, but it looks really nice and smooth curve otherwise, just by marking off that 7/8 inch down, putting the top of this plank to that line. I'll go ahead and start this side now, get this plank on, and then I'll come back when I get ready to start doing the rest of these planks. The rest of these planks, every single one of them has to be custom cut to fit around the different sweep and cannon ports, except for the top one, the shear streak. That one, there will be one long line. Each one of these planks when they go on will be cut to give an inseam, because this type of ship there was not a full plank run the full length of it. So So I'll go ahead and get the whale on and come back and start the rest of the planking. Okay, so that ends this video. Next time we're going to continue on the hull planking. We need to get all 6 or 7 of the boards above the whales in place. They each need to be cut around here. But we ran out of time for this video, so I'll get down to that one next week. Thank you for viewing.